Are you willing to fully, radically, unconditionally put yourself first? And by that, I don't mean self-care, or I don't mean giving more to yourself, or buying something, or shifting your life completely. I mean a simple step. A simple step that is quite transformational and for many people just radical. Like many people don't allow themselves to do that, which I'm about to share with you today. And yet, it is that step that really determines everything. It determines whether or not you're going to experience burnout. It determines your health. It determines your well-being on so many different levels. Now, what is that thing? What is that key to shifting all of these things, right? I mean, if you could be there and never again in your life experiencing burnout, wouldn't you want that? Now, when I first heard this seemed radical to me. This seemed rude and inappropriate and just very selfish, like to the extreme. I remember hearing this coach, I believe it was, or it was a public speaker, or somebody who was really high in personal development, in the personal development industry, and he was there talking about, he was giving an interview, and he said, it comes this click. When it clicks that I don't actually have to be here. And then your mind goes into, yeah, but you can't say no, you committed, people are ready for you and they're preparing, they made arrangements. But really understanding that in any given moment, you can just say, I don't feel like it. And now some of you are going to be triggered by that, right? Because we've seen so many people acting irresponsibly. We've seen so many people being reckless. I was just recently working with a client who was there, I don't want to give to myself fully. There was this subconscious block of, well, I want to put other people first because my idea of somebody not putting other people first and putting themselves first was my dad, who had an alcohol problem, and he was just reckless and he was selfish, and I don't want to be that. So I have to honor everybody else first before I honor myself, because I don't want to turn into that. Because that is my idea of, selfish is just reckless, giving to myself, going for what I want and saying screw everybody else. That's that, and I don't want to be that. So we experience this shadow aspect, and we feel like I can give to myself, I can put myself first. And then we go into these obligations and expectations that aren't even our own until we put them onto ourselves. We adopt them as our own. So just from 1 to 10, really bring this to awareness, because I want to make this practical. From 1 to 10, where are you at? And I would love it if you could let me know below in the comments. 1 being, I absolutely do not give to myself. I do not prioritize myself. Everybody else comes first, okay? Or my family comes first, or my job comes first, my responsibilities come first. 10 is, if I'm feeling out of alignment, I drop everything, I stop, and I put myself first. Where are you at from 1 to 10, okay? 10, it's me. I am the center of the universe. I put myself first. 1 is everybody else, and I'll kind of get the crumbs, or maybe there maybe not be crumbs, and that's okay too. I'll just get that. Where are you at with this one? And now, how can you allow yourself, because again, we're going practical here, how can you allow yourself to go a step higher? So if you're a 7, how do we make it an 8? If you're a 2, how do we make it a 3? How can you allow yourself today or this week to put yourself first? And this may be like, just go full-blown radical about this. Just, I have all these commitments, or I committed to some plans, and I'm just saying, you know what, I don't feel like it. Because here's what happens, right? A lot of the times we don't want to do something, and we're like, what's an excuse? Like, can I be sick? Can I say my kid is sick? Can somebody died maybe? A friend is moving, and I really have to do that instead. We look for these excuses. You don't have to do that. You don't have to look for excuses. You don't need something going wrong in your life in a fake or hypothetical way, right? or in a literal way, because so often people are like, well, I don't have time for myself. That's all right. Just wait until your body tells you that you do no longer have an option, right? So many people transform their lives when they get that, hey, by the way, you've got cancer, or, you really need to slow down because there's a problem with your health. That's when they make those shifts. You don't need to actually wait for that. That is unnecessary. So many people that I speak to, I mean, this is what I do, this is my field. They tell me just how low they had to go in order to go up. How much heartbreak they had to experience, death, losing everything that they had, their health deteriorating. You don't actually have to wait for that. It can be done smoothly. It can be done as simply as just tuning in to your body, looking at what is around you. What is your subconscious telling you? What is your subconscious manifesting? And shifting it before it manifests like just the end of the world. Your world doesn't have to end for you to build a new one. Ooh, that was good. Your world does not have to end for you to allow yourself to build a new one. Because it's oftentimes when we're pushed to the extreme, that's when we go into, okay, I've had enough and I want something better. You can create better from right now. Just ask yourself, what is my version of better today? What have I been creating for the last weeks, years, months? How can it be better? How can you give better to yourself? Because if you want different results, if you want a different kind of life, if you want to feel better about your life, you have to be a different person. You have to be a better person. You have to show up better to yourself, not to anybody else, better to yourself. Because when you show up better to yourself, that is when you show up better to everybody else. So on this note, what is that action step today? So letting me know in the comments, if you haven't, what was from 1 to 10, and what is your action step today? What is it for you to be better? And on this note, I'm wishing you a very powerful day.